Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Ariels podcast, now with the Digital Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. I cannot believe this, but this is season 5. So thanks to you. This is a thriving podcast, reaching the corners of the world, all the women out there, and I'm so excited and proud to be with you. If you haven't listened to the Artist Entrepreneur podcast, my new podcast with Noah Dock and Amanda Ritchie, please check it out. It's going to be on this feed on Thursdays. We're 3 artists navigating our businesses. We have so much fun. Please check it out. It'll be in your inbox on Thursdays. And just announced September 26th to the 28th, I'll be at NECA, the New England Center for Circus Arts, for an 11-hour weekend silks immersion. So it's a retreat-esque without being a full retreat. And I'd love to see you there. It's picturesque Vermont. And I have just a handful of spots left for June 21st through 28th with sweet retreats in Oaxaca, Mexico. Roll it out every Sunday and Thursday. I have some different times to accommodate my Pacific people and my East Coast people. My flagship course, Beginner to Intermediate Aerial Silks, online for anybody in the world. And of course, Aero Rehab, which is meant to be the bridge between PT and your favorite aero class. I'm teaching all over the place this year. Austin, Oaxaca, Ohio, and DC this summer. And of course, NECA in the fall. Let's get started.
I can't tell if you're saying all that weirdness.
You can't tell if I'm saying something weird to you? Renee, oh my God.
Renee.
I have 3 of them.
So Renee, you are in the East Coast area?
Yes.
Where are you at?
I'm in New Hampshire.
How close are you to NECA? Do you know?
Yeah. Probably takes me like an hour and a half to drive there, sometimes 2.
Only.
So yeah, I've been several times, and the most recent one was a couple of years ago, before I had my 3rd baby, but I was fortunate enough to stay overnight, whereas the previous times I had just driven up
right
early and then drive home to my babies and then drive back the next day and drive home again.
Oh my God, was that for an immersion?
Yeah, it was trapeze immersion with Megan Gendel a few years ago. And then I did a Lyra immersion November of, I don't even know what year it is anymore. 2021 or 2022, I think I went.
Oh, okay. Pandemic
was the last time. Yeah. And that was fun. I actually went with one of my friends and co-teachers, Justine Paula, who has been on your podcast before.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm starting to figure out where you guys all live.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
it's all interconnected up here.
Yeah, everybody. I actually, interestingly enough, I'm interviewing Elsie.
Yeah, very
from
cool.
NECA. I'm interviewing her
in
a couple days, and I am doing an immersion there in September.
Ooh, which one?
Yeah. Do you do silks?
I do trapeze. I'm a bar apparatus
Trapeze
girly.
is you like the hard stuff.
I love it. Give me a steel bar. I do silks. I love the silks, but the steel.
Got it. Yeah, we were talking about Lyra, but Lyra's not my first jam. It's like my 3rd jam. So it's going to be silks because silks is my first jam.
Yep.
But I have never been to that area. I mean, I've been in New York City, obviously.
It's definitely different than New York City.
Yeah, it's like 180.
You're going to be different. It's like in the woods. Brattleboro is such a cute, tiny little town. September is going to be nice for you.
It's going to be fall. I love
it. Won't be
fall.
The leaves won't be probably super colorful yet, but you'll still have a nice time. That's really cool.
Yeah, I love an East Coast fall.
Yeah.
And in LA, we don't get fall. Texas, we get 2. They tell me we get 2 seasons. It's summer and not summer.
Oh my gosh.
That's what you call it. I know.
Nice. You get a little bit of everything up here. So that's a good time for you to come up here. You'll like it.
So that's exciting. And now I know Justine Paula is right there.
Yeah.
I just don't know. It's hard to figure out. I don't know where on a map anyone is anymore. And Renee, how many children? You have how many? 3?
I have 3 girls.
Ooh, and how old is the youngest?
She just turned 1 a couple weeks ago, actually.
Oh my God,
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Starting to almost feel like a human again. So that's nice.
All right, I have so many questions.
Yeah.
How old are they? Because I want to get a lay of the land of how long
Sure.
you were pregnant and everything.
Sure. Yeah. My first daughter, Emerson, is 8. She turned 8 in November. My second daughter, Nora, she is my spicy one, who has Down syndrome. She is 5. And then
Okay.
Indy is my baby. She just turned 1.
Those are some great names.
Thank you so
Good
much.
job.
Thank you.
How old are they?
They're 8, 5, and 1.
I'm older than the 1.
Yes, you are. That's true.
I'm older than.
Go pee. You said you needed to pee.
Yeah,
Don't hold it.
I don't need a pee.
The urgency is gone somehow.
Yeah, I didn't need a pee.
Oh my God.
The worst.
Like, why don't they just pee? Just go. And then later, like 10 minutes later, they're like, it's an emergency. I'm like, it wouldn't have been had you
I feel
just
like I've been
gone.
potty training the last 6 years of my life. So it's all I do is talk about pee, I feel like. So right there with you.
Well, pee is better than poo.
Mm-hmm. Get a decent amount of that too, though.
Yeah, you know what? We talk about poo all the time. It's a big topic here on this podcast.
Yes, wonderful.
So you found Ariel when?
So I grew up as a dancer, went to University of New Hampshire for dance, but they had an aerial program there. So as part of the dance program.
Oh, that's they were early with it then.
I think that I think they introduced the program. So Elsie and Serenity helped start the program, to my understanding, with Gay Nardone, who's the instructor over there, in 2005.
Lucky ducks.
Yes. So I was like, wow, I started there as a freshman in 2005. I think they had the aerial program there it must have been a year or so. So in any case, I started in 2007. But it was
and you had those two? Goodness, lucky.
We were so lucky. As a senior, I remember they took a group of us over to NECA just to have a day long, immersion of classes and stuff. And it was just us. It was really cool.
That is fantastic.
Very fun. Yes.
If it wasn't for NECA, it might be a little bit of a circus desert up there. But
honestly, yes.
Yeah.
100%. Because even then, I graduated in 2009, and aside from traveling to Vermont, I was like, how am I going to keep up any of my practice? There were no schools around, no studios around that had aerial offerings. They weren't, I feel like right now there's aerial classes at every other dance studio around, at least in our area. And then a few, aerial studios that are kind of standalone by themselves. But back then it was all right, I'm going to go, be 21, 22, work at my restaurant job, and then, email my instructor and see if I can go up. Can I just sit in on the class? Can I just hop in? Can I stop by? So it was a little bit of a drought for a few years after I had graduated in my younger 20s, just trying to go back up to UNH whenever I could, find a time that there was a class going on and I could make it. And that was the beginning years. So it's been pretty kind of inconsistent, I would say, from 2007 on. I haven't been in a really solid practice since 2007, but I do like to throw that OG date out there.
Yeah, I mean, that is the year I started, actually.
Really?
And I started a slow crawl into it because I was dancing.
Yeah.
I was working, and it was hard to do. It was hard to train so consistently and then do the jobs with dance. Yep. But okay, so you've been in it. It's been in your body way before you had kids. Mm-hmm. So when you guys either decided to or just ended up having kids, how old were you? I
was 29 when I had my first.
Okay, so you are +8. Mm-hmm. Can you do math? How old are you
37.
now? Hold on 1 second, Renee.
Yeah.
Go pee. You're holding your girl parts. Why? The bathroom's right there. And you were worried about your kids making noise.
Solidarity. No, this is me all the time.
Oh my God. Renee.
I'm with you.
Yes. So 8 years old, 5 years old. So there's quite a bit of time in between. Mm-hmm. What did you do with your aerial practice in between all those pregnancies?
So with the first one, I had still just been going up to UNH, which is about an hour from my house, just whenever I could, when there were classes going on. Throughout that pregnancy, that was like 8 years doesn't seem that long ago, but I feel like from that pregnancy to my most recent pregnancy, so many things have changed. So that pregnancy, my midwives were like terrified of aerial. Nobody had heard of it. Nobody knew. They thought I was crazy when I asked if I could still do
there
aerial.
was no podcast.
Yeah. There was not a huge community of pregnant and postpartum aerial moms.
Yes.
So I was scared out of my mind. So I just didn't do aerial until I was postpartum again. I probably started back up when she was about 18 months old. Just went to a local studio where turns out I actually currently teach, but I started going, to this place. Actually, no, I had started when it was in the owner's house. She started it in her house.
What's the studio called?
Karma Fitness.
Okay,
Fitness.
Karma as in
Karma.
Karma Fitness.
Karma. Yeah, Kama. And it was a really small studio in this woman's house. Started there before I, had the baby, or before I was pregnant. And then once I had my baby, took like 18 months or so off, went back. So I felt like it was in my body, but then getting my body, strong and flexible enough to do the things that I had been able to do before took a lot of time. But I was really gung ho about it. I really fell back in love with it. And then I got pregnant again. I had started to train to be an instructor. So I had a degree. I've been teaching dance forever. I have a degree in dance and aerial and from the University of New Hampshire, but was, training to teach at this particular studio, Fly Fitness. My husband and I were talking about having a second, and it just happened way faster than we thought it was going to.
Okay, like how fast?
Like my first, we were like trying, and the second time we thought about trying, and then it happened. So I was completely thrown for a loop. Like it happened, like one try, and then I was pregnant, and that was kind of astounding.
So like 19 months, your kid is 19 months, and you're pregnant.
Yep. And
Okay,
I had just started officially teaching there, so I was like, okay, this timing is kind of inconvenient. But
yeah,
luckily the midwives that I was seeing had kind of grown in their thinking as well. So they were like, okay, like you've been doing aerial, you are an instructor, you know your body, do what feels comfortable for you. So I did continue teaching probably until I was about 28 weeks or so along with my second baby. And felt really good doing it. Like my body felt so much better than I had with my first pregnancy, where I was, scared to move, scared to do anything.
Right. And how did it differ with your body and recovery on the second one versus the first?
Oh my gosh.
Also, you're years older. You're a couple years older.
Right. So. It was so much better. It was so much
really?
better.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
Like the consistency in movement, just moving my body and keeping up with, some of the strength routine that I was doing, I think helped immensely. And I'm so thankful for that too, because that second baby, when I was about halfway through pregnancy, we found out that she was going to have something wrong with her heart. We weren't exactly sure what it was, but had to go in for a little bit more monitoring than I had anticipated.
Sure.
Lots more appointments. Ended up having to take my care down to Boston, which was about like 30-40 minutes away from where we had been living.
And you are in New Hampshire, not Vermont.
Correct. I'm in New Hampshire. I'm pretty close to the seacoast, actually, and pretty close to Boston. Luckily, we're very, very fortunate for that. and that second baby actually was a surprise diagnosis of Down syndrome. So there was a whole slew of like emotional things that went along with that and with her birth and with the delivery and everything. So mentally,
educate me on this. Down syndrome, is it ever diagnosed prenatal?
yes. So there is screening that you can do. Hi, baby. There's screening that you can do, blood work that you can have done up until about 12 to 14 weeks into your pregnancy. And since I didn't know anything about Down syndrome. I didn't know anything. I was like, I'm young. I've already had a child. I was 30.
Yeah.
I was 35.
Assumptions. I would do the same.
Funny enough, my husband works in genetics. But he was like, yeah, it's probably like, we're probably fine, whatever. So I didn't elect to do any of that blood work. And so at the anatomy scan at about 20 weeks, they were like, they saw a bright spot on her heart, which could have been any number of things, but they said also could be related to Down syndrome. Did you have your genetic blood work done? And I said, no. And they were like, okay, like it wasn't a big deal. And there weren't any other physical markers at that point that would lead us to think that she had Down syndrome. So prenatally, I think at the like 12-week scan, they do the nuchal translucency test where they measure like the back of the neck in the baby. And if that is like a certain measurement, then it's an indication that the baby might have Down syndrome. That was all within normal limits. So no markers there. Sometimes on ultrasound, if a baby has Down syndrome, their femurs may be shortened, which hers were not. Sometimes you won't see a nasal bone. We could see hers. So like nothing else really was like screaming, I have anything else going on. So we were just concerned about her heart at that point. And so continued to go to Boston for fetal cardiology appointments and kind of watch the progress of her heart. And we saw that she may have a VSD, which was a ventricular septal defect, a hole in her heart. But they weren't sure how big it really was because they couldn't get her to hold still, and they're trying to ultrasound her heart through my abdomen. It's crazy. So it was, we knew something was going to be wrong. We didn't know to what extent, and we wouldn't know until she was born. So I had
so much anxiety.
Yeah. So thank God I was able to still move a little bit because I think that helped alleviate some of the anxiety. And so, when she was born, they were like, okay, like she's breathing, she's pink, like she doesn't look like she's in distress. By the way, it looks like she might have Down syndrome. I was like, excuse me? I'm so sorry. Hey. Oh, Miss Rachel's not doing it for you anymore. Okay, number 3.
Oh my good, look at the squishy. You want to see a squishy white baby? Come here. We have so many squishy white babies around here, huh? Come here. Look at that.
Say hi. Hi.
Oh, there looks like there's some snot happening there.
Hi, Mama.
So she was diagnosed out of the womb but how about her heart? Was her heart fine?
They were able to ultrasound. They did an echocardiogram of her heart, saw that she did have that VSD.
Okay.
But it didn't need immediate care. So we planned on her having open heart surgery at 6 months old.
Oh my God.
But wait, it gets better. So they basically had to monitor how she was doing with like at weekly and biweekly checkups with her cardiologist, with her regular pediatrician, and wait and see if she could gain enough weight for the surgery to happen. So she wasn't born prematurely. I was induced, but she was at 39 weeks. And she wasn't real small, but she wasn't gaining weight appropriately because of the function of her heart being kind of in a state of decline. So that was really tough to deal with, basically watching my baby go through heart failure hoping that she was going to gain weight. We had to monitor how she was eating. Was she getting sweaty? Was she struggling? Do we need to start more medications? We had to have her on heart medications, furosemide, which is a diuretic, to help with fluid that wasn't, being pumped properly.
So that she's having like diarrhea all the time?
No.
Oh my God. No,
But
no, okay.
I called her my little bird when she was, teeny tiny, because she was barely 8 pounds by the time she was like 2 months old. So
What? So little.
we had been planning on this surgery happening at 6 months. And then they were like, she's not really growing as quickly as we'd like. Let's bump it to 4 months. I said, okay. So we got that scheduled. And I had pretty bad anxiety kind of throughout the whole thing.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah. I took her in for a checkup with her pediatrician because we had to do regular weight checks and make sure she wasn't losing weight or anything like that. And we checked her weight, and the doctor looked at me and she was like, you need to go call your cardiologist. She said she's lost weight. I was like, okay. So I called the cardiologist. And they were like, okay, so change of plans. We are not going to wait until she's 4 months old. We need you to come to the hospital tomorrow. And we're going to put a feeding tube in, see if we can pump her full of calories, get her weight up a little bit. And whenever the surgeon has time, like in this schedule, we're going to try and get her surgery done this week. I was like, okay, all right, head spinning. At that point, I had a 2-year-old at home, trying to figure out, like, when was I gonna, this was like the end of my maternity leave, essentially, trying to figure out when I'm gonna go back to teaching and everything. She ended up having her surgery when she was 10 weeks old. So that was like a little traumatizing. That whole time was pretty anxiety inducing. And, if it weren't for my faith and my family and my husband, I think I would have really gone off the deep end. But she had her surgery when she was 10 weeks old, and it was a night and day difference almost immediately. So now she's thriving. She's no longer on any medications or anything like that.
Wow.
But
Okay.
You want to talk about postpartum anxiety? That was,
oh my God.
It was like, wow.
Were you also trying to breastfeed at this time?
Yeah. And it was
God.
It was hard because initially they were like, oh, she has Down syndrome. She's probably going to have difficulties latching. And so we worked at it and she did great. But then it was, okay, now her heart is failing. She's working too hard. You can't nurse her. So I was like, okay, then I'll pump. And then in the hospital, they were like,
she's still sucking it. It's just easier with the bottle.
Yeah, because it kind of comes out for them. And then we're in the hospital and they were like, we actually are going to place like an NG feeding tube. Like she can't have anything by mouth. Like, okay. So that was tough, but she's a fighter. She's a champion. I said she's my spicy child, and I mean it 100%. Like she went back to nursing after her hospital stay. We were there for 16 days in hospital, in Boston, and took her home, and she was like a brand new baby. And now she's my spicy 5-year-old who's like antagonizing the 8-year-old. She comes to dance classes. She's crushing it. So, yeah.
Are you at MD Anderson? Is that the hospital there?
No, Boston Children's Hospital.
Okay. I mean, to be honest, like sometimes you just get lucky where you live because that area has amazing hospitals.
We said that so many times. My husband was actually, I didn't even mention this. My husband was working in the genetics department at the hospital that she was born at. So they ran the test called her karyotype. He did that like for his job. So they ran Nora's blood work and saw her extra 21st chromosome. So my husband was like texting with his boss to like find out, how it was looking and stuff. I feel like we probably got results a little quicker than other people do.
Yeah, probably.
I was still, I technically hadn't been released from the hospital yet. And he was like, do you want to take a walk down to the lab? So I go down to the lab, just to look at
VIP lab treatment.
He's like, so here's her karyotype. So we actually have it printed on our wall. So those are her chromosomes on our wall. Yeah, probably different artwork than some people have, but in our Down syndrome community, it's not too odd.
Okay, I need to you need to educate me a little bit.
Sure.
VSD again stands for what?
Ventricular septal defect. So it's a hole in between the two ventricles. When she had her surgery, when the surgeon came out, he was like, it was so much bigger than we thought on ultrasound.
Wow.
That's why she declined so fast. And she also had an ASD, which is an atrial septal defect. So it's a hole between in the wall separating the atrium. So
like in a balloon, it couldn't expand to its.
Yes. And so like blood was flowing where it wasn't supposed to be. And everything was hard work for her. Her heart was just not functioning.
Poor baby. Jesus.
Yeah. That was traumatizing, but she's thriving.
Tell me what the baby did.
Oh, the baby had a really hard time. Like her heart wasn't pumping right. Look at this snot. It's disgusting.
Did she had a heart?
She had a heart problem, yeah. The baby did.
What? She's too young.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I said.
You'll resonate with this.
Yeah.
Like, what is up with people having this conception that if you work from home or you're a stay-at-home mom, that you just got so much time on your hands? No, I don't have. I'm not mad at you. Okay. What?
Right?
The F is that?
I don't know. I wish that I knew. I'm home most of the day. I teach dance 5 days a week, though, dance and aerial, and
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I should have things done, but between the 3 kids, bringing them all over the place, getting stuff done, I don't know. How do we do it?
Well, and I have to say, I am very much rathering have the 24 hours of my day be mine, and I decide what I do with that time.
Yeah.
But the fact is that you just work 60, 80, 90 hours a week. Mm-hmm. That's the fact.
Absolutely.
One child, 10 children. That's what it is.
Yep.
We're all teaching or training at some point, hopefully. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we all have our own, jobs, and whether or not you work from a computer at home or you like work at an office. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Dude, I just like to vent every week with my guests because I'm like, this is the only way we get through it because people don't actually recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my gripe. But okay, so she's a fighter. She's 5 years old now.
Yes.
And when it came to your third, was it a planned pregnancy?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, like, how did you mentally wrap yourself around, like, planning for a third pregnancy after that?
I didn't. So my husband and I we joke about.
So are you guys just, like, superhero fertility over there? What's happening?
I guess so. I didn't know that. With our first, I don't know if it was coming. I had been on, like, oral birth control. So when we got married, I came off of it, and it took us like months and months to try and think about, try and work really hard at trying to have a baby. The second time around, it was like, okay, let's try. Then we were pregnant. Third time around, I feel like the sentence was barely out of my mouth. Like, should we have another child? And I was pregnant. I was training I ran the Boston Marathon in April of 2023, raising money for the Massachusetts Down Syndrome Congress, and had kind of felt a little unwell around that time. And wouldn't you know, a week later, I took a pregnancy test, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was pregnant. So Indy ran the marathon with me. And so she was born last January, and I was still teaching. And like I had said before, I feel like every pregnancy, my medical providers, I feel like they kind of became a little bit more knowledgeable about, aerial and physical activity and everything while you're pregnant. So they were like, oh, wow, you do aerial? So so does my niece.
Okay, there you go.
Or what, so they were into it. And so they were like, oh, yeah, you teach? Cool. Don't do anything dumb. I'm like, okay. So I taught while I was pregnant with my last one until I was, I want to say 35 weeks pregnant, and felt pretty great most of the time. And this was like my healthiest pregnancy. I had been a little bit nervous kind of after what we had gone through with Nora and everything. And the fact that I was now, a geriatric pregnancy, I was like, okay, this is.
Oh, yeah. We love those words. By the way, do you know that I've been doing this podcast for 5 years, and only a week and a half ago did I learn of the term incompetent cervix, which I think is rude. So
degrading.
Yeah, as is geriatric pregnancy. And men made up these terms. Like, who would use the word incompetent in any of these things? Like, name it something else, like thinning cervix, maybe? Because that's actually what it is.
Yes.
Like, so rude. Sorry, that is both extremely rude. Yes.
So I know. It's okay. They told me, they said, my medical provider said I was of advanced maternal age. I was like, okay, great. I've always strived to be advanced. So that was wonderful.
I would love to see someone actually and be a fly on the wall for somebody actually use the word asshole when somebody says it back to them. Like, that's just no. I refuse to accept that. Anyways, those are my thoughts and feelings on that. Like, side note, did your husband or you ever be like, I really would love a boy?
Yeah. So this third time was like my easiest pregnancy. I had gestational diabetes the last 2 times.
No.
And yeah, so that was throw that in the mix. That was fun. So this time I didn't have it. When I asked if it was a possibility that I wouldn't have it, they kind of giggled. They were like, yeah, maybe. But I truly didn't have it this time, which was pretty cool. My body felt the best that it had ever felt. So I was like, you know what? It's so different. I bet this is a boy. And this was the only pregnancy where when they offered me that initial, genetic blood work in the beginning, I was like, yes, I absolutely will do that. Just, after having a child with Down syndrome. And that one also tells you what the sex of the baby is. So I was like, okay, we're going to find out. Here's our boy. And girl, I was like, are you serious?
Your genes are strong. Those genes are strong.
We only make girls. That's like a running joke in our family. My sisters all have girls. Like, it's just, we can't make boys here. So it's fine. I'm raising my own little dance troupe. It's
oh my God,
wonderful.
It's amazing. It's like a little army of dancers. But also I have a friend who can't make girls. She can't.
Yep. Oh, weird. Isn't it weird how that
she
works?
Just can't. They can't make them. And I laugh because I helped her change her baby once, at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you clean that thing? I was looking over. I was like, what do you do with that thing?
I was like, you know what? At least we know what we're doing, and we have, a ton of girl clothes and whatnot. So we didn't really have to prep much for her.
This is true. You don't have to
yeah. She's been easy from the get-go, honestly.
The last pregnancy, the last birth, we didn't talk about they girls coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Did they all come out generally?
Yes, all 3 vaginal births. My first one, I was definitely in a little bit more of a crunchy era. So I was very much opposed to having any medications or anything. I felt like I cut a deal with myself. I want to try to go as far as I can. If it becomes unbearable, I will have an epidural. But I was honestly, that crunchy side of me kind of coincided with the fact that I was terribly scared of the act of getting an epidural. So I was like, I would.
Okay. The needle, all that stuff.
The needle. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to be catheterized, not thinking about the fact that everybody's going to be down there anyways, because I'm literally going to be having a human exit my body.
Yes,
so
true. This is true.
When it came down to my first, I ended up having unmedicated, but had a little nitrous, just to kind of help dull the contractions a little bit, and that seemed to help. And then with the second, she was induced. They wanted to make sure that I had her in a controlled environment just in case she did need any like immediate care. So I was induced. She, though, when she decided to make her entrance, I was in the process of asking for an epidural. The anesthesiologist was busy, and then she came flying out. So it was funny because you always, I feel like you see in like movies and TV shows, like the pregnant woman is laboring. She says the baby's coming. Nobody believes her. And then the baby, comes. So they had just checked me. I think I was at like a 7, and it hadn't been very long, but I felt her like descend. And I stood up and told my husband, I was like, go get the nurse right now. She's coming out. And she comes in and she was like, we just checked you though. And I was like, her head is right here. So they checked me, lo and behold, she was on her way out. So she ended up coming out. The anesthesiologist walks in our room, looks at me, looks at my husband, and goes, oh, looks like you're having your baby now. And I was like, get out. So she came flying out. And then the third one, she was my biggest actually. And she was my latest also. My very chill baby was happy to just stay, where she was and grow. So she was 8 days late, which I was a little salty about. And I went.
Wait, 8 days late? What did they usually say
my third
in
one.
2025? Like, what did the doctors say? Not the midwives necessarily, but what did the doctors say about like?
Oh, they were like, they were so cool about everything. They were like, you're doing great. She's doing great. She can stay in as long as she wants to.
Okay.
Like, we'll talk at like, they were like, if it gets to be like 42 weeks, let's maybe think about induction. But they very much left it up to me, which I was super grateful for. I kind of always felt like I was ready to be a little bit let down. I thought that maybe my age would be a factor. I waited to get preeclampsia like the whole time. I could not believe that I was having as healthy a pregnancy as I was having. And so even with that, they were like, yeah, she's late, but like, she's doing great. I was like, okay.
Like I would have if I had to, but I did not want to be pregnant one more day.
I got to that point. That is like, for me at like, I get to like 37, 38 weeks and I feel like I'm counting down the days. So with this one, every twinge, every cramp, I was like, ooh, is this it? Is this it? With her, I did go in and have a membrane sweep done 3 times. So 3 different days. Yeah, she did not want to come out.
She really didn't.
So the day after the last one, she finally made her debut. It was the fastest delivery. It was like the most convenient timing. She was born right before dinner. So I had that baby and then I ordered a pizza, where the other 2 had been born at like 10 and 11 at night. Like this was like, she came out at like, it was like 5:45 or something. So I was like, thank you. I did attempt to get an epidural with her. They went as far as placing it, and I had like a little bit of numbing medication, but never got hooked up to the pump or anything because she just came out. So I tried.
Okay, here's what the survey generally. Okay, now you've had 3 children out of your body vaginally. So what do you say about the statistics of the first one, like being such a long labor and where you landed in the statistics of that, and then the ones after number 1 just shooting out of your body? Would you agree with those statistics?
I feel like that's pretty accurate. I thought my third would come earlier, but
after she decided to come out, she came out fast. Is that what happened? Okay.
Yeah. That was about 4 hours.
Oh.
Where my first one had been like 12 hours of labor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, your body kind of wants to have a baby. Mine does not.
It wants that baby out.
My co-host for Greener Grass, her name's Kelly. She is such a super, like, her body wants to give babies to the world. She had 4 kids, and she just
amazing.
like pregnant and then like boop, proven pelvis is what they call it. Yeah,
Proven
pelvis.
pelvis.
My body, even when like my water had broken, I was barely like dilated. She's like,
Yeah.
nope. So here we are,
That's
but we're one and
crazy.
done. So I love talking to you guys because I'm like, oh, what might that be like? I don't know. No idea.
I feel crazy every day, but I love my
Of
girls.
course. So your two girls are in school, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yep. My oldest is in second grade. My middle baby, she is in preschool. And then I'm home with my 1-year-old. She's my travel buddy.
So it kind of works ish.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So do you have a piece of advice for the women out there with motherhood, with having a baby,
Oh,
with
yeah.
balancing motherhood with having a little bit of a career and trying to fit it all in? What would you say?
I would just want to remind everybody and myself to be gracious with yourself, because being a mom is a lot. Being a working mom, being a mom who is trying to also, work on her craft. If you're an aerialist, all of this it's really tough. I remember reading or hearing before, like, um, you can't have everything done perfectly all of the time. So find one thing to focus on maybe during the day. If it's coming down to cleaning the house, if it's coming down to training, if it's coming down to showering yourself, like make one thing a priority. And if anything else gets done, that's great. I do think though that having, a lot of grace for yourself, allowing yourself some space to mess up and to let things kind of fall by the wayside if they happen. The most important thing is that you're taking care of yourself and that you're taking care of your baby. And whatever that looks like for each individual person is going to vary. Don't look at anybody else's story. Don't compare yourself, even though it's so hard to not do that. But, you have to kind of walk your own path and be kind to yourself.
Renee, you're so wise. And
Oh,
also,
thank you.
us aerialists are, not good at not being perfectionists. Like we are,
I
we're
know.
really bad at it. Like all of us who are moms are
Yes.
kind of in that recovery of a perfectionist stage
Yep.
because you have to let it
Yes.
go slowly. And it's
Yeah.
hard. And I talked to my girlfriends who, I have one in particular that she's a co-host of mine on Artist Entrepreneur. And she's not a mom. And she's 100% working on her business all the time. And her perfectionism
Yeah.
is to a fault, right?
Yeah.
And it holds her back from getting work done. Like it holds her back from posting a video, holds her back from getting a product out on the market. And I have to say, I'm so much better at that now that I'm a mom. I am.
100%.
Like it's
yes.
a skill set. You have
Yep.
to practice
Yep.
letting it go.
And it's so hard. And like you said, like you come from a dance background
Yeah,
as well, right? I think growing up in front of a mirror,
Oh, yes.
in that kind of
It
environment,
is so.
it is really hard to not be a perfectionist.
What is it? Okay, dude, I have to tell you this. Renee, the studio that I'm in now, and I'm not in a dance studio currently. I'm in an aerial studio and Pilates studio only. And the only mirror in that place is not full length, and it's in the Pilates studio, which I do not spend tons of time in. So there's no mirrors in the aerial space. And it has quietly changed my life. And I love
Isn't it weird?
After being in a mirror my whole life, there's something so, and it's so subtle what it does in your mind.
I feel like you can focus on your movement without critiquing yourself a little bit.
Yes.
I have one of the studios I teach at is like that. I'm at 2 dance studios and then I'm at one strictly aerial studio, and the aerial studio does not have mirrors. And at first it was kind of a little bit weird for me going from, always being surrounded by mirrors to that. And I really like how that kind of puts you in your own body and in your own mind and doesn't allow you really to critique all the little teeny teeny things that nobody else is looking at. You can kind of just focus on your movement there.
Yeah,
which is nice.
and then of course it's so different now because we have our phones, and so I do get to see what I did. I just don't critique it in the moment. It's not the same.
You can enjoy yourself more.
I can enjoy myself more, and then when I get home, that's when I can be like, oh,
Well, yeah.
What is this angle?
But I have to like, I'm so happy now that it seems like in social media, especially, there's been a little bit more of a change in like how people are posting and what they're posting. Like there's still some like really beautiful, perfect, awesome, spectacular routines that people are posting. But then I really love it when people are also posting kind of like their gritty work in progress that has like, for me, it's my kids are running through the shot or something, or, I'm on my trapeze and my kid's asking me for a snack. Like, I'm going to keep that in. Seeing that other people are also able to let things go a little bit and let things not be perfect is really nice.
Yeah. And social media has changed that because it used to be that you had to be super produced with your videos. And now people don't care. It's just like, they do not care at all. Whenever a mom is like, well, my kid's making some noise, I'm like, don't worry, because also I've become very good at like editing things out, which is why it's wonderful because there's 2 tracks always. So if my kid's making noise, but I'm not talking, it can just be completely taken out. I mean, it's genius.
Oh, nice.
So thank you for carving out the time. I know it must not be easy, even though you have the one kid at home right now. This time is precious. Like you when you have a certain time of the day, it's like that time is like, I'm going to get everything done during this time.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, but thank you, and it was great to meet you. You want to say bye, Bean?
Yeah.
Okay, come here.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
My listeners, if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and review, I would appreciate it forever. It is the hardest thing about being a podcaster is to get your podcast out to the people who want to listen. So the best way to do that is to have a good star rating and just ride that algorithm. So I really appreciate if you guys would just open the Apple app and leave me a review. It makes such a difference. I appreciate you. I also have Greener Grass with Digitant Podcasts with my friend Kelly McVeigh. If you want to hear my voice twice a week, it's there for you. It's light, it's heartfelt, and we bring on some really amazing guests. All right, my friends, over and out. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist.